Good morning, Sadie. Do you know what today is?
A big day.
Today we're putting up trusses on the shop, so it'll look a whole lot more like a building after today. What do you think, honey? You have a good day?
Yeah. I'm looking right at 2 trays of sandwiches.
That's gonna be a good day.
Well, today's the day, folks. Finally, after more than a month of preparation and some time of really intense preparation, it's time to raise the timber frame for Nick's dream workshop.
Yay!
It's the calm before the storm or something like that. Won't be too stormy. It's gonna be a nice sized group and feeling good. I think he's doing road work on the way in.
No, I don't.
Sometimes he just scrapes as he goes by.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, puts the bucket down and fixes a little thing and moves on.
Nothing else to do. I'm sorry.
I mean, he's out in the machine, right?
Yeah. Do you want to say who this is?
What?
Introduce him as he comes up.
Yeah, so this is our friend Scott rolling in on his backhoe. This is our backwoods crane. That's what it is. Good morning, Scott. Oh!
This club.
Oh, no
Moscow
kidding?
is very
Who are you talking to? Good. How are you? Yeah?
glad to be here. Shake my hand, Milo. Good to see you.
Was on the grocery list from your parents? You're like, we gotta have nachos again? No.
They were so good, though. I had them the next day.
Ah, awesome.
Taking care of business.
Thanks for coming, man. Do you want to take
No problem. I tried on your house. I tried to touch every major beam, truss, everything.
You got in it, man.
You did.
Yeah.
It's not as big of a group this time as we had to raise our house because we're relying so much on heavy machinery. So it's really special people and family. And those of us who are here can do the work.
So, since we're going overhead almost all day long, we'd like most everybody who's directly in the action to be wearing a hard hat. We got 8 of them back there. You're wearing a machine. You're safe. So the sequence of events here is we have to lift these long plates up into their brackets. That's pretty self-explanatory, I think. We already got one rigged up. They should slide into these little reductions here. We'll see. There might be some shoving or some shaving or whatever to make it all happen. But so I try to be as prepared as possible. I don't really like to leave a lot to guesswork or to take care of it when we get to it sort of notion, but sometimes that's unavoidable. So we'll chase our way out doing these, and then we'll start in on the trusses. We're gonna hopefully use this as a crane. We'll see if we got the height. If not, we'll have to get creative, but John. Yeah.
He's tall, right?
Now you know why you're here.
I can see him standing in the backhoe, just kind of.
Yeah, then you in the bucket.
There we go. Yeah. Holding it up.
So we'll set trusses deep first, so we'll pick up one out there, bring it all the way back here. It lands into this 6-inch notch here and just rests there. It'll get toe screwed with some 6-inch GRK screws, and I'll get somebody lined out who just does that. Mark, Elaine.
Welcome! Welcome! Hello!
Where was I?
Toe screws.
Oh, there's this guy Mark, and he's never like right where. Oh, Mark.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Also the thing that's going to hold up these trusses before we do, any other parts of the building is I have these 16-foot long 2x4s. We're going to put a cross brace. We're going to put a cross brace. I just need to know where you're at.
Dad.
Cross brace on one side and on the other side, reaching from the rafter, hitting the tie beam, which is the horizontal piece, and coming down and bolting into this post. And hopefully that's all that's going to hold those trusses up before we come back and start dropping roof pieces in and stuff. I can explain more about the trusses and what happens after that, after we've handled them a little bit.
It's gonna be a learning experience.
Yeah.
Best kind.
Just like last time.
Last time wasn't too bad. Yeah. Yeah, last time we were able to lift everything
Just pick
by
them up
hand.
and set them on the floor, and you guys drug them over.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
This
But this time we need them upright.
This is a little different rascal here.
Absolutely. Okay, so what do we do? Who wants to be landed crew? Up on a ladder, looking at what happens at the bracket. Mark really wants to go up.
Yeah, he's good.
Justin
He's
wants
good.
to go up. All right.
We need a hard hat.
Yeah. So they'll need hats.
Totally fine.
I'll be ground. I'll be secondary hands if you need me to
Okay.
run and grab something.
I think that
Let me know.
I think that each of them gets a buddy just for ladder stuff and for whatever else. At this point, we'll just land them,
Johnny,
and then we'll dispatch
you with
another
Justin?
team behind you to do hardware. Okay. Sound cool?
Good.
You go grab. I
You
got my
want to
hard
be
hat
with-
and stuff in my car.
You have a hat. That's great. We're
Here,
up to
Milo.
nine hats.
Could you?
And kiddos clear.
I don't know what that is. You can also do the old-fashioned. You should be on a Viking warship with that thing.
This hammer?
Yeah, well, you get
I love this hammer.
You can invade Greenland or something. I don't know.
Who says he hasn't already?
I can.
Oh my god, that hammer is so amazing.
There it is. Bouncing now, brother.
Yeah, we're landed in the middle,
Is that
and this
strap
one's
out
got
of
a
the way?
lot of air. So.
So Mark, when I first mentioned coming out to work on the shop last time I worked with him, he was game, and that's his greatest quality. He has awesome skills. He's done a ton of different things, from construction management, finish work, theater work, all sorts of stuff. What's awesome is that he's game. He's just gonna say yes. He goes up on the roof. He gets in difficult spots. He has an eye for quality, and I really trust him to be my set of eyes if my eyes aren't there.
Yeah, it needs to come this way. So what do you have to give there, Mark?
About a quarter.
Anything?
Oh yeah, about a quarter gap.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're just out of the notch on this side.
Hey, can I get a hunk of 2x or something? Because for a while there, 2x or 1x.
We got ditch 2x right here, buddy.
Okay.
Another berry.
Yeah, about a quarter.
I placed your ditch
Time
steel.
for me to go get some nutrition.
Oh, shh, quiet.
1x. Sorry. Back in the heat.
Back in the heat.
I could throw you my wicked hammer. That's all right.
Please don't throw hammers, babe.
Not in anger. It's actually a good hammer. Never
for
throw a
hammering
hammer in
in a
anger.
corner.
That's the rule. Not never throw a
Oh,
hammer.
okay. I always forget that part.
I've heard of people throwing down the hammer.
Yeah,
Isn't that a good
dropping
thing?
the hammer.
Oh, dropping.
Oh,
Drop the hammer.
Yeah, that happened when I was a kid. Landed right on my head.
Exactly. Don't do that either.
There it is. And I were building a treehouse.
I did it.
You are landed. You are kissing.
Yeah, it landed here too. I'm just gonna give it everything that this will do without destroying knuckles.
What fun is that?
Yeah.
Saving it for after. You got a bunch of knuckles. You can give them a few.
Took the words right out of my We're gonna take a little break.
My new sister.
So on a day like this, we're all anxious to see a big difference made in a hurry, but that doesn't always pan out. Sometimes there's actual important work that has to happen, and sometimes that important work is slow. So the plates dropping in went really pretty well and relatively quickly. Once they were there, we had, 48 bolts to make. The hole in the steel is 3/4.
Yes, sir.
My drill bit is 11/16.
Yeah.
The bolt is 5/8.
Yeah.
All sorts of room to
Should have some wood.
not mess it up, right?
Yeah.
That's drilling through the timber, through both steel plates, and then driving that bolt and making it tight. Steve, you want to stick with Mark for a bit and be his
Let me go
ladder
grab my
friend?
driver and
Okay. So that was a little slow going, and it felt like a stop, but we kept people moving around. We're just hand packing this hunk of wood up there.
Look at that.
He's just like, I got it. No big deal.
Yep.
How's your straw bale, girls?
It's very pokey and when we're telling you something, no, you have a hard head. No, you have a hard head.
You gotta be protected.
No, you have it. You have it. You have to be protected.
Eventually, they had 3 people drilling holes, Mark going away from the camera on the left side, and Justin and Nick with different drills coming towards the camera on the right-hand side, and John following along making the bolts.
Smash that whole thing.
All of it. We want the people who like it.
Wait,
So
Sadie, can you explain that?
There's a war of chips, and who likes it? How many people like it better? So, how many people like it? So, more people liked ours, and we won the war.
Which side are you on?
The plain chips.
Oh.
Plain chips, woo!
Yeah.
All of us here are on the plain chip side.
This is the plain chip team, folks.
Team playing chips. These are my
Don't
people.
hate, we're winners.
This is not all
You
of
can't
us.
say you can't.
Oh, I can't.
No, you can't say
Via is too. Via's on our side too. Via's on our side too.
And the dog. Okay, so we counted the dog in our
We
count.
counted the dog and Ollie,
So
and
it's
Ollie
possible
won't
this-
choose.
It's possible this counting is very slightly rigged.
No, I don't think so.
Ollie and Grandpa won't
It's
choose.
a good process. We had Stella was on point. She took care of making sure everything was well documented. I can't see any problems with her findings of the survey.
And Grandpa and Ollie wouldn't choose because Ollie.
This
Here's
is
the
another dog.
Yeah, Ollie. She wanted both of them.
Are you gonna be the receive the trust ladder man, Mark?
Could happen.
I'm betting on it.
Unless somebody else jumps in.
I'm fine. So when these go up, they'll get a cross brace on either side, right? So we have a ladder on either side. I mean, it's a little bit overkill, but I think it's the right thing to do. From the rafter, crossing the tie beam and to the
steel post.
yeah. So we're gonna start with a bolt on the steel post, and then send it up to somebody on the ladder.
Got it.
Zap it up high, zap it midway.
All right. Let me throw a screw tip in my gun.
We had a pretty good idea of how the trusses were going to go up before we started, but it was unproven. So we had to do a little experimentation, work closely with Scott, the backhoe operator, and get it all worked out. This is where Forrest's area of expertise really came into play. He works day in and day out with big crews, people who may or may not have great familiarity with what they're being asked to do. He has a great sense of logistics and how to keep people moving and how to sort of iron out a process. So he was able to work with Scott to figure out a great way to rig the trusses, while I was able to keep my eyes on sort of the finer points of how things were landing and fitting, and does it really work, and are we able to move on.
Hold there. I'll be able to do it. Okay, hold there. Yeah, I'm there. You're there? I'm there. Okay. So what we should do is get up and do one of those cross braces so that when we do go slack with him, we have a handle on it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Girls, look at that little pile of trusses. Our pile of trusses is shrinking.
We're doing them super consistent, so like all the cross bracing even looks good.
Also, Scott as well, he lives here, but he is an excellent equipment operator. These guys, Mark and Forrest and everybody else who have worked with heavy equipment operators, all said, hands down, he's the best they've seen. So, not bad for our little side of the hill in Idaho.
Thanks for flipping the tackle, man. It's gonna be a bump, guys.
Catch. When I throw it up there, grabbing that nut off of it. Okay.
Hold on a second, Steve.
Yeah, wait on the catch. Nick, you ready for the catch?
Yep.
Good man, both ladders.
Which one? Got it, Nick?
Uh-huh.
Got it?
We can kill
could have done it all the way up to the road now. We got it set now. Yeah.
I compare it to like us attacking it like ants. It's like.
I'm impressed. I think I got a hold of everybody's jobs. I can't see everybody all at once, but I think I got all the jobs.
For an all-volunteer crew, these guys were pretty awesome. For any crew, I mean, they were more dependable, more responsible, and more fun than a lot of professional crews that I've worked with on a variety of projects.
The last truss to go up was the first one we made because it was at the bottom of the pile, and usually you go up in a pile. That was the one that I made with my dad, and it was cool that I had made that truss that they were putting up right now.
Yeah, we're not high enough anyway.
Take the mask back to you. A little more. Keep going, Scott. Keep going. A little bit more. Hold that.
Yeah.
Yeah? All right, guys. Race it.
There was nowhere to lean it over here.
By the end, we were a well-oiled machine, and we wish we had another one to do.
Catch. Set your end down.
That's the real structure.
Yeah, we're gonna catch you, okay?
The real structure is the tin roof.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, there.
It's like a 30-second change over there.
Oh, no, you're good. Ready, Mike?
Tell me when you're ready, Nick.
We'll be really good at it on the next build.
Yeah, you got that, Scott. You're clear.
Scott, you're a champion.
He is a champion.
You did a great job.
Thank you. How'd that go for you?
Good. Thank you very much, sir.
Good driver.
Anytime that you get folks together to make something real happen like this, it's such a pleasure in some ways for everyone involved, but especially, of course, for us to see the kindness and generosity that people bring to it, and how often that sense of generosity and willingness to participate just lines up really well with also having skills. Because if you show up to do things like this, then you end up having had a lot of great experiences and being able to do cool things everywhere you go. So this is an A1 team here. I was super pleased with everybody who was here and so excited to see this building finally become real.
So that happened. Frame is all up, and it went pretty much the way that we thought it would. No big surprises, and everybody just rolled with the punches. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who showed up and put your hands on stuff, and you made it a good time. You made it happen. You made it safe, and I just want to say thanks.
Night, night. Good night, little shop.
The awesomest crew ever.
All right, I'm Nick. Thanks for watching.
Well, hold on. Let's fix this real quick first.